when I was in high school, I worked at Walgreens, and I didn't know that there were non-latex condoms. But there's this thing called, I think it was Natural Lamb is a brand.
The lambskin, yeah.
Yeah. And how I found out was there was a couple empty boxes on the shelves, and one of the assistant managers was like, "The fuck is this? Jesus, if you're gonna steal condoms, why don't you go for like the Trojans?" And I was like, he's a 16-year-old me, like, what's going on, man? Why? What's the difference? It's like, these are lambskin. And then I learned from my assistant manager the difference in all these different condoms, and I was like, oh my god, dude, that's fucking gross.
Just find the Scottish guy in the department.
The Scottish guy in the
Sorry.
It was you.
I'm just trying to make some haggis, okay? And running short on supplies.
No, but it was really gross because like apparently they have like a drawstring on them.
What?
Yeah.
It's true.
It's apparently like to cinch it, there's a drawstring.
You can't use elastics on them.
Well, I mean, I guess that negates the need for like a cock ring to keep your own cock out.
Maybe that's why they had it.
Pull it
like,
really
just
tight.
put a cinch on it, It's just like,
Oh man.
my lambskin keeps falling off. That's why I came to you with a cinch. Put this ring on.
I'm just imagining just like a
Things got better all of a sudden.
really small Crown Royale bag. Just like,
It's basically like that, Just
It's got the
just
smooth,
not as fancy.
the smooth golden braided.
oh man.
Can you wash it?
Somebody
I mean, it probably technically is
Cold
reusable,
water
but
only.
I don't think anyone would really want to reuse them.
Imagine
I mean,
that one
technically
guy.
latex condoms are
I don't know.
reusable,
I mean,
but no one wants to reuse
We
them.
just vocalized it. I'm sure there's a demographic now.
Well, we'll probably get it in the comments. I don't know.
Maybe.
We've only gotten like 2 comments out of like.
And they
5
were
videos.
very
They were
very nice.
respectful comments. Yeah.
Yeah, they were really nice. I appreciate that guy.
Good
Anyways.
effort.
Good.
But, that was nice. That was a nice comment.
Anyways, welcome to Maximum Dakka, guys.
Oh God, we're rolling.
We were
We
rolling.
were
that
rolling the whole
entire
time.
Yeah.
Wait, they didn't get the 1 billion thing, did they?
no.
You weren't
No.
recording for
Post
that.
No.
post that.
Okay.
No,
right
racist
after.
racist comments were excluded from this.
It's not
What? It wasn't
racist.
racist.
Wasn't racist,
There was
it's
nothing racist said.
It's
Son
just-
of a bitch!
It's just something you probably shouldn't say for demographic
well,
reasons.
you know.
Yeah, in 2021, everyone's a fucking pussy, so...
Anyways, welcome to Maximum Dakka, guys. This is our pregame podcast that we're doing. Joining us tonight is
Will?
Cal.
Phil.
Caleb, and
Phil.
and I'm James. Just so we're clear. If you guys are just joining us, which probably most of you are, welcome to the channel, guys. This is what we do. We play BattleTech and other various games, which we will do at some point in the future. But we're mainly focusing on BattleTech for right now. But other stuff will come.
I know what our first topic should be because
What's
I know
that?
we talked about it. It's actually talked about in the first game video that we just released on Sunday the 3rd. What are all the rule changes that we made to Destiny as it exists today for our campaign?
I think, well, we need to do a separate video for that.
I agree.
But the majority of the changes that we made were, one, going through all of the Dark Age rules and converting those over.
Not the MechWarrior Dark Age rules, but like the new tech.
Right, the new
stuff that
tech.
came out for that era.
Trying to figure out how to work a lot of that into Destiny. Me and Cal did a lot of work on that.
Mostly you. Mostly I just recorded it like, okay, wait, that doesn't make sense. Clarify.
Well, you did a lot of work on it too.
But yeah, so I mean, I think starting with like the ground zero part, it really was the we didn't really care for, or I guess you didn't care for, and then you convinced me actually because I didn't think it made sense. But it was the way that ranges were handled for weapons fire, the point blank, the near, the far and the really far, the near far, wherever you are, kind of stuff. But so we didn't really care for that. So we decided to make that more along the lines of Total Warfare and just use those measurements, and then just stick with the traditional, no penalty, -2, -4 for short, medium, long range. And then it came down to table size and how we wanted to get across a map faster, but in what felt like a good narrative way for a tabletop RPG. So that's when you came up with a 1.25.
1.25. So basically, all we did was we took the movement value or the MP value on your mech sheet times 1.25, and that gives you a realistic movement across the battlefield. Like if you're playing on map sheets or whatever, it would be, because a hex is 1.25. Each one of these hexes is 1.25 inches. So it just equated to, since we're not using hexes, that 1.25 was better. And then weapon ranges were the same. And we went back to weapon ranges solely for the purpose of it gives weapons their identity back. Because in MechWarrior Destiny #1, I mean, doing MechWarrior Destiny in Dark Ages gives us a lot more spells to cast in an RPG environment. I know a lot of people don't like it on the tabletop. I enjoy it. It gives you a lot more flexibility and strategy and things like that. But there's only so many times you can watch somebody cast medium laser, right? And that's if we're playing in 30-25, that's all we got is
a workhorse.
Medium laser. Medium laser.
Right, but
Medium
it's
laser.
it's not fun at that point. They're like, oh, I'm a mage and all I got is fireball. It's like, well, okay, that's really all you got. And
Fireball.
that's one of my main
callback.
That's one of my main reasons that I don't like Alpha Strike, is because, I mean, why bring an awesome when you can bring something else? I mean, and it costs the same amount of points and it's got the same thing. It just takes all mech identity away, is what it feels like to me. And I get it. It plays faster. It does. And it's a lot easier for people coming in from like Warhammer and things like that to get away from, or to get into. But we did that, so all ranges were 1.25. All movement was times by 1.25, and then after that we brought in short, medium, and long. So that goes back to like classic tabletop, where you'll have a 0, 0, -2, and -4 modifier. -2 and -4. Instead of +2 and +4, it would be minus, because we're going the opposite direction. Where if you're rolling higher, it's better. And then other than that, it was just getting the weapons down to where we thought that they felt good and played out well. And that was a lot of rolling the dice, sitting at my computer rolling the dice, doing, okay, this weapon hits this hard, this weapon hits this hard, this weapon hits this hard, and doing it over and over and over again to make sure that it was not too overwhelming. And somebody played with racks.
Yeah, that was us.
Was that us?
Yeah. I remember when you actually
both of our games we've done racks now.
Oh yeah? How'd you like them?
I mean, he was actually the one who used them.
How'd you like them?
They were okay.
It was pretty cool. It was interesting. Something I'd like to toy around with a lot more in the future.
Yeah.
But.
When he actually was coming up with the rules, trying to make sure they were well balanced and everything, and racks are already disgusting anyway in Total Warfare. So yeah, talk about rolling dice, trying to come up with it. Yeah, it was pretty much just like I'd read what came across the screen. I'd be like, okay, let's try this out. I don't know, man. So I did a lot of dice rolling myself, trying to follow.
Yeah, racks were the ones that really scared me, because they can do a lot of damage real quick. But the more I see them played with, the more it's really not that big of an issue. But the risk and reward in racks is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like you could do a lot of damage, but you might not be able to use it for however long if you jam it, something like that. Have to spend the entire turn fixing it. Which I think at the end I did eventually jam it, and then I just stopped using it. But then that Marauder died very shortly afterwards.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. You guys in your poor game. That was a really good game. I enjoyed recording it.
Hey, at least we had a winner.
Well, not all games could be winners,
Well,
you know. But yeah. Other than that, yeah, like I said, it was just converting the rules over, and me and Cal still need to do a video about, go through and break down all the rules and what does what. But that's the general broad strokes, anyways. Anything?
I think for the battle reports, yeah, rules would really be good. But I mean, for the RPG, like outside of the actual weapons themselves, like some of the stuff is really just narrative. What fits the narrative? And I mean, like, to be like super clear with you, I mean, I just whatever narrative you guys have fits the narrative. I want you guys to tell me, like, how does that work for you? What do you want to do with that? So I mean, when you're playing a competitive, game, player versus player, yeah, some of that stuff,
Clear cut rules.
Yeah, it'd probably be really good to do a video on, but I think as far as the RPG goes, as long as your movements are good and and you got the range to shoot something,
Yeah.
go for it.
But yeah. So one of the other things that I wanted to talk about tonight was, how did we get to here? What it took to get all of this going.
Well, we kicked somebody out of the house.
I was moving anyway, so let's be fair about that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Y'all just rearranged rooms after that, so
It's true.
Well, I mean, the first game that they're seeing on today, actually, well, on Sunday the 3rd, was actually recorded in the garage.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
You record that one in the garage.
Yeah, there are some problems with it. Some that I couldn't fix in post, but because one, I'm not as experienced with
Don't apologize.
with Adobe Premiere, but some were like the nameplates, because me and your nameplates are switched whenever I put the nameplates up. That was something that I just could not fix. I could not get the timing down right. It looked weird, and I was just like, screw it. It's not worth my time for the 20 people that are gonna view it. I'm sorry, but it just wasn't worth my time to fix.
for those of you who noticed, cool Easter egg.
But yeah, how did we get here?
To this very point.
Yeah, well, to
I drove.
recording the well.
That's the easy
Well, I'll tell you
answer.
where it
Come on.
started. It was started with your game at a friend of ours.
Well, I always wanted to record this, but
I think the point that it became real is that we went to our local gaming store and found other people that wanted to play this system.
right.
And from there it was, hey, let's play some games. And then it became, hey, I actually do want to record this. What does it take?
Well, that was we were painting up at Barney's.
Yeah, we were painting. Let's see, I had just gotten some Iron Wind stuff in, and I think I was gluing the Kraken, and you were just sitting on the table, and that was when you dropped the idea to me.
Yeah. And you said you wanted to do it, and then we talked to everybody else, I think. Right?
Well,
think
Will
so, yeah.
was the last to buy in.
I mean, I was part of that game at the friend's
Yeah,
house,
yeah,
mutual
yeah.
friend's house, and I thought it was a cool idea, but yeah, it was once it was like already started and about to kick off. That was when you guys came to me and said, "Hey, we need one more."
Mm-hmm. Well, but for anybody that wants to do this, there's actually, I've still only seen that one damn video. You can look up, and I'll put the link to the video in the description down below. But there's a video by some other people that stream D&D, and it's like the only one that I've ever found as to, hey, here's how to stream Dungeons and Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, most of the other stuff you get is like Reddit links to things that are really super vague, and it's like, well. So I had a lot of trouble with trying to figure out audio, because I absolutely jack all knowledge as to that, but Caleb actually did.
Yeah, that's kind of where I came in. So,
And that's where the game actually got really real, was when we figured out what Caleb did for a living, and I was like, oh.
yeah, I mean, I work, like, I do pro audio, like live production at a church in town. Like, we got like 2,000 people on a Sunday, something like that. 1,500, I think, is about actually what it is in person. But I've been doing it for about 4 years now, so I know my way around this stuff. It's my realm. So, you know, when James and Cal came to me and asked if, you know, they'd help me put things together and gave me a budget, I gave them recommendations, and they actually listened to me, which was nice.
Well,
But
we're all professionals.
Yeah.
You know?
We all have
are.
a job. We all have jobs where, hey, this is, you know, I'm kind of an expert in this. It'd be
you
nice
pay
if you
attention
did
to your
this.
I
experts.
have a job. I haven't had to apply any of it to this. So I just want to
Well,
point out.
Yeah, but when
I mean,
somebody
my contribution was, you're like, hey, what do I need for streaming? And this is my only experience with streaming on Twitch for a little bit. And I just sent you like a recommended audio list, and you were like, oh, I mean, for what we were going to do, because I mean, 4 cameras. I didn't know what to get for microphones because that's not my realm. So,
Yeah. Well, so for somebody that wants to start doing this, like they want to sit down and they want to stream tabletop RPGs. Now tabletop games is a completely different beast, because the way we do it, we use the same equipment, but if you don't have it, there are other ways to do it. I mean, you could just do it with a handy cam as far as that goes, and a good Rode
Rode mic, shotgun mic, or
Rode shotgun mic, which hopefully at one point we'll all have shotgun mics, and so they'll be out of our way. But for what we've done, I don't want to put in the extra money to do the actual battle reports that way, because that's just a whole nother beast, and we've already got this set up the way we want it, and I'd hate to have to tear this down every freaking time we have to do it. But
and it served us pretty well with kind of what we spent on it. So
I feel like
for anybody who actually even remotely cares about what our setup is, like, I think these microphone boom stands, they're like a desktop mic boom stand for like $15, $20 on Amazon.
They were the cheapest part of this entire endeavor.
Yeah.
Yeah. The microphones were pretty close. Like, they're a knockoff SM58, which, again, for anybody who even remotely cares, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Well, these are
These are knockoffs. Yeah, they're like Behringer knockoffs, which Behringer has kind of a shaky reputation in like pro audio gear. They're technically pro audio, but they're like budget pro audio, exactly. But they sound surprisingly nice for, like, I think the whole thing is like each of these mics is like $20. The boom stands themselves are $20.
Yeah. How
These
much were
XLR
the
cables
mics?
are cheap.
They were like, I got them on sale, and I think they were like $17 a pop.
wow.
In fact, you were the one who recommended, because I was about ready to pull the trigger on 58s or something similar to that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was going to be like mid 3 digits, and then you shot me those, and I was like hesitant. I'm like, hold on now. We went from these to $17 per microphone.
If it makes you feel any better, I was also hesitant.
Yeah, but that's why I double checked, and you were like, go for it, and I was like, okay, so
It worked out.
So-
purchased, and yeah.
Sorry, that's the boring part of me
Right.
just talking about microphones for some reason.
Right.
So
But if you want to sit down and actually film like RPGs, you have to have a mixer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you have to. Not because you have to have a mixer, but because trying to get that many USB mics into a computer and into OBS, which is what we use to record because it's a lot easier, is an utter fucking nightmare. Trying to get OBS to recognize different video feeds that are not individual USBs attached to your computer permanently is a fucking nightmare. So, with that said, you kind of need a mixer, and that mixer that we've got, what is it?
don't ask me, I don't remember.
It's a Zoom something.
The Zoom Live Track L8.
Yeah,
And it's like a mixer and a DI box in one, isn't it?
Oh, most mixers have
yeah.
phantom power attached
I
to it.
guess you're right.
so,
Yeah.
But
Yes,
Yes.
technically, you are technically correct.
But it's only got 6 XLR inputs. But I think they make a version of that.
They
with
make a
more-
version that's larger. It's made to be a field recorder, so
Right.
it can run on battery power, and like you take it literally out into wherever you're recording on site and
and
just
use it.
pop in some batteries, plug in some microphones, and just go. And it's a handy little device. Like I'm like really impressed with it.
Gen
Now,
Con
granted-
podcast.
But
Now-
seriously though, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Granted, there are tools that I wish it had that would definitely like take the quality of the audio just a little notch higher. But you know, I'm nitpicking at that point.
Right.
So
Right. And then we've got the Logitech C920s.
they're
which
just like
is-
webcams, basically, right?
Yeah, well, they're 922s.
I forget that they're here and here. So when you guys like look in to
Right.
them, like what the
What the fuck are they doing? Yeah, but we've got 3 of those, 1 for the DM and 2 for the players. We've got them on angles because it's very hard to get a direct shot without building something, and we don't really want to build things in here. But
not at the moment.
do what?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. That, and we're playing with a, you know, I mean, it's one thing if you're playing D&D where you've got a small map, right? We're playing on a full.
Like this is a custom built
It's-
table built specifically to
This would be-
frame.
What you guys see us playing on is 7x4. We're missing about a foot at the back end, and that's because our actual game camera is a.
Is it plugged in?
No, it's not plugged in right now.
Oh, okay.
It's a Canon EOS M200, which is what we use to film this. And I have a lot of problems with that. At some point, if we get the viewers up a little bit, I will probably start editing in 4K, just because when you look at it at 1080p, the details on the miniatures, they're there. You can tell kind of what they are, but they're fuzzy. And that just has to do with the pixel density that we're working with on the section of the screen that we have. So I would really much like to stream it or to record at 4K, but until we do that, you'll never get a full 1080p picture on these, which would be a full HD. So these are probably like maybe 480p, maybe, but is what it is. But that's kind of what we've got. Now I've got on my computer, I've got 8 USB slots, which are all taken up.
Yeah, they are.
They're all taken up. But that's kind of what you need to start going. Now, obviously, we moved from the garage into here, and we played around with the audio a lot. We got some Amazon special sound deadening stuff, which you can see here. We've left those up for decoration, I think, at this point. It wasn't the best when we started recording in here with those. The audio wasn't, but we went and got some of that actual, what's behind Cal there is I built a box and put rock wool insulation in there, which is sound deadening insulation, and covered it with cloth. They look pretty nice. They work a lot. Like it's noticeable.
It's a neat effect when you like just face them and speak into them. It's a very neat effect.
Or like brush your ear up against one and your other ear pops.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's happened to me a couple times when I've been setting up the boards and stuff in here. Like but yeah, that's that. There's a lot of post production stuff which is taking years off of my life trying to learn. Because
Gray over here.
yeah, well, I haven't had any experience with any audio or any video, anything prior to this. So I've had to learn like Adobe Premiere, After Effects,
So you could've fooled
Audition. But the whole video intro that you see before our actual games was all done in After Effects, and that took a lot. I mean, it's only 30 seconds long, but it took me months to figure out just how to do it, and several iterations of other things that was just like, man, this is just not working. I don't even want to see it. But the end product I was stoked. Not a very happy person, but I was ecstatic whenever I put all that together and put the music behind it. It was like, oh, this fucking works. This is cool. But yeah, so
I think that's a really good place to kind of point out. I don't know if you would call it like our mission statement or something, or like if you want to get like super corporate about it, but like I was going to say like none of us are professionals, but I'm literally a professional who does what I do here for a living. So most of us are not professionals in this field. We're just a bunch of guys who like playing BattleTech together, and we just wanted to do something that we thought would be fun, and we're just bashing our heads against a wall and seeing what happens, and we're just making the best of it, and we just hope you enjoy it. So that's all there is to it.
yeah, I'll do this as long as there's 20 people that watch it. I mean, it's a lot of effort, but it's fun. I've had a lot of fun doing it.
We've only got 19 viewers now, so time to wrap up, I guess. No, I'm kidding.
We pissed off one of them with
I
the
was gonna
Irish
say,
joke
there was
earlier.
like-
Yeah, that's what it was.
There was like
You guys made an Irish
16 this
joke?
morning.
What the?
17.
That's Scottish.
Scottish joke.
Scottish. Oh,
Oh,
well,
now you
I
really pissed
now I
someone
pissed off
off.
another person. Yeah, so 18.
18 viewers. Yeah. Unfortunately. But yeah, as long as there's people that watch it, I will continue to do this. It's just it's a lot of work, guys. Getting there is a lot of work. It's not a lot of work afterwards, because now there's a lot of people that will tell you have to edit things a lot. I'm here to tell you you don't. I mean, is it going to look amateur? Yes, absolutely. If you don't edit the piss out of it, yeah, it's going to look amateur. However, I've done so much work on the front end of this that really all I do now is just pull things in, make sure the audio levels are right, add some music, and then cut in the things that I've already made and hit render. I mean,
Yup.
we've all the stingers and all the transitions and everything like that is handled in OBS when I press a button. So I don't have to add in any of that shit. I don't have to pull in different camera feeds from different places and resize them and make sure everything's correct. It's all already done in OBS. So, I mean, you could do it without OBS, but it's a lot easier if you do it with OBS.
Essentially, the way we've set this up is maybe not 100% stream ready, but we've made it essentially as if we were streaming.
We
and,
could stream it if we wanted to.
Yeah. Or we're close to that point where we could if we wanted to, because in the post-production side of things, that makes it a lot easier to just have a product that we don't have to do a whole lot with.
Right.
It just makes a whole lot of work on the front end, which at this point is already done. So,
Which, whenever I do, because I will do a Curse of Strahd campaign at some point, I'll have to do a whole lot more for that one. I'll have to have a new intro and new things like that. But as long as we do that on the front side, yeah, it's not that big a deal. I don't do the intro through OBS because it's a lot easier for me to just hit it where I want it in Premiere. That way, if I push the button at the wrong time or something like that, then it's set in stone. It's recorded. You're done. But in Premiere, I can just cut it and put it in there wherever you want to. Premiere's a learning experience. And so is Audition. Have you ever screwed with Audition?
yeah, Audition is... I don't use a whole lot of Adobe stuff, but Audition is, for those who are out of the loop, Audition is the audio side of like the whole Adobe suite. So I've used it. I think I use it on a semi-regular basis with just my work. It's more geared towards it's less geared towards music and musical applications, which is more of my realm. So there's a few things in there that are a little wonky for me, but it's definitely like every other Adobe suite item out there. It's got a pretty steep learning curve unless you know exactly what you're looking for, and then you can still take some time to find it. Just it takes less time. So
YouTube's your ally.
yeah, exactly.
YouTube's
We live in the age of Google. You can learn literally anything you want at this point, and it's just magical. So
Yeah, there's probably 400 hours worth of tutorials and things on my personal YouTube account that I'm like, oh Jesus. Like trying to go back through and find that one video where he did that one thing that I liked, and it's like
too many of them.
yeah, tutorial videos on YouTube are excellent at doing one of two things: either helping you learn how to do something, or not helping you at all and giving you more questions, but now you know that you're really doing it wrong.
Going down the rabbit hole.
Exactly.
Well,
yeah.
and there's so many of those professionals out there that use like After Effects or Premiere or any of those, or Audition, where they're just like, they forget that they're doing a YouTube tutorial, and a YouTube tutorial should always be done for somebody that has no fucking idea what they're doing. And they're doing a YouTube tutorial for somebody. They're like, oh yeah, you've got to have like 10 years experience in order to understand this tutorial. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what you just did. You're talking to me like I should know this thing. And then it's like, well, okay, I got to go find a video to teach me about what he just said.
Reminds me of my CS experience at college.
Yeah.
You got to go to school to learn how to program, but you got to know how to program to go to school to learn how to program. And it's like, my God, this is a freshman course, and
This is a weird.
you should have had 4 years of Java to do this. Shit.
This is a weird segue, but is anybody familiar with TV Tropes, like the wiki?
The website? Oh,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
It's kind of like that, where you want to look for one specific thing, but then there are like 7 things on that page that you don't know what that means.
Just
So
like
you have to
opening
go
new
through
windows.
each one of those in their own page, and there's like 7 of those on each of those pages, and it just gets exponentially bigger.
It's just nested and continues going on and on. Yes, I was doing
Yeah.
that the other night, trying to find one specific show, and I'm like, I know the trope that it falls under. Let me see if I can find it. 3 hours later, I finally found the show, which I can't remember what the name is anymore, but I found it that one time. But you go through and you're like, okay, I know what I'm looking for. I have a general idea. Okay, there's about 80 things that match that general idea that you're looking for. So you go ahead and go through and kind of filter your way, and you find some more kind of possible things that fall into that. So you're getting more and more refined, and then realizing, no, this isn't it, so you have to pull back. Getting more and more refined, no, that's not it, so you have to go back. And eventually you find what you're looking for, just so you can go back to what you were originally watching, and then 10 minutes later you do the exact same thing again, because there's another subject that you have to go and research in order to go through.
And then you do that for about 3 years, and then you finally know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Meanwhile,
Only for them to retcon it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, your computer's groaning because you did it all in Google Chrome, so you have no more RAM anymore.
3 billion tabs, yeah.
It's okay, just download moreram.net.
I mean,
Do they have a wiki?
you just use Google's computer. just use Shadowplay to search the web.
Use NVIDIA Stadia.
To search the web.
Just use it at their cost.
They're like, God damn it, he's burnt out like 10 sticks of RAM.
They've got to have some kind of limitations on that to keep you from like overloading any of their the metrics that they have.
He thought he could beat us at our own game. Son of a bitch.
Just gives you a warning message. You're approaching your RAM limit. Close your applications now.
Or your computer will self-destruct in 5, 4. It's like, ah! Then Google Chrome stops working and the timer still counts down. It's like, oh no.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. But
What do
yeah.
you mean they charge for RAM? That's the wrong website.
Speaking of that, another tangent, but speaking of the downloadmoreram.net, there was another website that I found one time that was just like that, but it was give your computer an exorcism. Download this online exorcism now to rid your computer of evil spirits that you can get from websites such as porn sites, gambling sites, and some other several unsavory quote unquote sites.
If
Cleanse
anybody
your PC and cleanse your soul.
Yeah, Scientology at its best.
If anybody knows a Catholic priest, I'm having trouble uninstalling my copy of Diablo 3, so
I'm not down with the reference right now.
like
Oh, okay, never mind.
there it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
There it
yeah.
is.
Well, There's been so much bullshit with Blizzard in the news lately. I was like, it wouldn't surprise me if there was a bug where you could not uninstall Diablo now, or that it just destroys your computer.
That's not a
think
bug.
that was-
That's a feature.
Now that was Bungie in the '90s with what was it? Was it Marathon or Myth?
Yeah, Marathon.
Yeah.
Marathon.
Yeah.
was Amazon with New World, and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna burn your graphics card
Oh
down
my god.
in a time where you
Oh.
cannot buy a graphics card.
Yeah.
Please play our game.
They did. I do believe we were having this conversation at work. I do believe they have recompensated. New World has, or NVIDIA has compensated those that were burned out by that bug.
And from what I understood, it was really rare. Like it wasn't like
It
a whole lot of
was
people.
very-
it
yeah.
was substantially like enough for them to realize it was an issue, but it wasn't like.
Well,
Sorry,
by
is
no
this
means
a
it's
real
not.
thing that actually
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So people loaded up New World and the graphics card went no limiter and literally burned out the GPU.
Yeah, it was something to do with like a very, very specific chipset, a very specific video card and motherboard combination, and the program, like the game itself.
Yeah.
Some kind of incompatibility with all three going together.
Just
and
bypassed the limiter on the
Yeah.
temp
Yeah.
setting and went just
Jay's too
literally,
sensitive to
literally,
video
yeah,
on it.
literally burnt out and smoked out the PC.
And
like
what he was having
nuts.
problems with was the it was like the menu was going up from like 100 frames per second to like 10,000 frames per second in the menu.
it's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, those are impressive videos. Like, whoa.
You know what has annoyed me though is people apparently are very new to waiting in queues and now have created very interesting macros and then actual macros to stay in game, thus depriving everybody else who wants to play the game because New World isn't going to update their servers for a while. So you have like a 20,000 wait queue, and people have gotten creative to just create macros so that they walk in squares, so that they can't leave the game, because if they leave the game, they lose their slot, right?
How long are the queue times?
We're talking like hours long right now. Like it's significant.
Yeah.
One of my coworkers is trying to get me to play it, and I've considered it, but seeing the queue times be the way they are today,
Like
I would not buy that
World
game.
of Warcraft Classic queue times.
Yeah, whenever
Probably,
they first
honestly,
released
I think it's actually worse than that, because at least Blizzard already had the infrastructure where this is kind of new to Amazon.
Yeah, I mean Amazon. So the Lumberyard, most of the stuff that Amazon is using for New World, most of their server tech, and I know you guys are on the fence about Star Citizen, but most of that was developed by Star Citizen. So they have the ability to spin up different servers. They're just not doing it.
I'm not surprised though.
Yeah.
they're probably waiting to see how things settle first before they make any major changes.
Because AWS, you can always spin up a new server.
Yeah.
I mean, they have millions of them.
I mean, from my point of view, it's just as easy to spin it up as in spin it down and reconsolidate those resources. I mean, VMs aren't shit.
right.
You know, you just load up more snapshots and call it something else. Call it a different name. You know,
Right.
AWS-1, and so on and so forth. You know,
Right.
can be whatever you want it. It's just very interesting to see that people have attached tape to their mouse and attach them to oscillating fans. That's
the best macro ever.
to basically keep their character and with a weight on the
Yeah.
W key just to basically run circles. That was my point of that. It's just kind of interesting to see the desperate lengths people will go to stay inside a game, but I don't think they understand the damage that they're actually doing to their own machines because of this.
Yeah.
Especially with an intensive game like New World, which at some point they'll get their shit figured out. But I mean, every second your GPU's running is a second that you don't have to run. You know,
Right.
it's a finite time.
Yeah, it just amazes me that we've come this far as a species. Like all the technology we've made, and then like you have those people who just like, nope, can't wait the 15 minutes to. Well, as of right now, it's longer than that, but like. Eventually, I'm assuming it'll get to that point, but I can't wait the 15 minutes for the queue times, or I can't queue in at a later time. I have to be in right now.
I mean, launching day, my coworker left work on his lunch break to go home to let his dog out.
To queue in.
He queued in, and then he set up his home security cam not towards the door,
His computer.
to his computer window so he could monitor it. And as soon as he got back, he told me about it and showed me on his phone. I was like, why didn't you just use like Google Remote Desktop to get in? He's like, Google has a remote desktop? I was like, you work in a goddamn IT field, my brother. Like, what are you, like, you could use literally our own software probably to do it. Nobody'd bat an eye.
Or Discord.
Or Discord.
Discord, yeah.
So, I mean, there was options. Discord, actually, that's a good point. You could just use Discord to stream it.
As long as you have two Discord accounts, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Now people are gonna watch this and be like, I'm getting another Discord account.
Damn it. You need 2 Discord accounts so I can shitpost on one.
That's what people are doing on TikTok. It's what people do on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's the internet masked vigilante, man.
Yeah.
Why not just go back to anonymity where nobody knows what your primary account is? Why can't we do that? Why can't we just keep that?
That was one of my
Well, we
favorite
can't.
things.
We're now on the we put our faces on camera. We can't do that now.
That was one of my favorite things about like old school World of Warcraft. I think it was in the Burning Crusade or something like that, where they were having just a massive problem with trolls, and they were like, "Oh, well, we're gonna make everybody put your real name on there." And then that one dev was like, "Yeah, it's not shit. Nobody can." And they within seconds, they had pictures of his house, pictures of his car outside of his house, pictures of him leaving his house within seconds of him posting his real identity. And it's like, yeah, maybe that wasn't a really great idea, because there are some really smart people on the internet that will fuck your shit up.
Yeah.
Because nobody's ever written a virus, right? Dark web doesn't exist. You can't hire a hitman on there.
You mean like McAfee and Norton? They don't write viruses?
Yeah. yeah.
Speaking of that, McAfee didn't uninstall himself.
Wow.
The podcast is taking a turn.
Just putting that out there.
Well, I mean,
There was an inevitable Epstein joke somewhere.
yeah.
That was just basically the IT equivalent of it.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
We only left him alone for 4 hours and left the cell door unlocked.
What's the worst that could have happened?
Yeah.
We heard screaming. We didn't check on him. He's fine.
Weird gargling noises.
We're here to make sure they don't get out, okay? That's it.
Hey, sometimes they hear weird gargling noises in prison, okay?
We just thought he was choking on a cucumber.
That's just the sound of a giraffe. It's the sound of a dying giraffe.
Wah.
Wah.
Wow.
I feel like we're gonna take down a mech, and as they eject, we just go womp.
Oh man.
That's the sound of a dying annihilator.
Senators of armor gone! Guys, go!
Is that how they got the sound for what was that? The bomb on the Slave One?
Oh, man.
Let's add some reverb and slow it down.
You know,
pretty
okay,
good.
so when the Slave One was on The Mandalorian, I mean, a lot of nostalgia bomb on that show, right? But yeah,
No puns intended.
I was extremely I was extremely excited for that when Boba Fett did that and dropped that bomb, and I was telling my wife and kids, like, shh, this is the coolest sound effect, shh, and there it was, and I was like, yes.
I think they're calling it the fire spray now.
Yeah, it's
It is a fire spray.
Yeah, that's the
model
classification
of ship.
of the ship. Yeah.
They're just calling it the fire spray now. It's no longer Slave One because
Oh, that's what you're getting at, really, man?
Yeah.
That stinks.
Negative.
Well, they're
connotations
calling
with
they're
term
calling the
slave.
classic. Yeah, I mean, although they've never in any section of the movies they've never referred to it as Slave One.
It was
It's
always
never-
just in the extended universe kind of
yeah,
stuff.
Clone War. I think it got listed in Clone Wars during
Maybe.
like season 3 or 4.
maybe.
Whenever they cut to Boba,
Mhm.
because they did a whole stint with Boba and Aura Singh and all them.
Mhm.
She had the ship at that
Yeah,
point.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, but
Yeah, I don't remember.
erasing the past.
It's-
so that future
it
generations
doesn't change
don't know
it.
this happened. That's a really
Yeah.
good indication that you could repeat the
Yeah.
past.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like let's just change things so people feel better about it. No, this is how you
I mean, if they
keep
just
the knowledge.
yeah, I was that was one thing I was like, they don't change it because you're posturing for, change it because you're progressing, but keep it what it was for a reminder where you came from.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and there were. I mean, their reasoning for it is valid. That,
Yeah.
That.
The classification of ship.
Well,
Okay, that's
yeah,
neat,
and
you know.
the fact that it got blown up, so he just got another one.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I get it, but at the same time, it's like when they unlisted it on the toy and just put Boba Fett Starship. I was like,
Yeah.
it's like you
Oh, is that what they called it on the
Yeah.
yeah, there for a time, and then they reprinted those boxes with the fire spray on it. But
Yeah.
I was just like, you couldn't even call it like Fett's Fett, like
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Like, congratulations, we changed the name. Slavery no longer exists.
one?
Yes.
yeah,
I can't wait for Slave 2.
Yeah, my goodness.
yeah, man. But yeah, I think it's a good place to end it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should have another battle report coming soonish. TM.
TM.
And then a-
Soon TM.
Soon TM. It's a
And
trademark.
then just kind of a longer rules explanation.
Yeah, longer
more
rules
technical.
explanation. More of these, more of our tabletop videos. We've got 4 recorded as of right now.
Mhm.
So what you guys will see was recorded months ago, but yeah,
Months ago, your time.
months ago our time.
Yeah, I guess.
You're just seeing it. We're ahead. I think 4 games, right?
Three.
I think.
Three.
Yeah, 3.
3 games. We're ahead 3 games.
After.
So you guys will be
After
3
two.
games behind us. But as for us, I think we're gonna get to reloading our ammo bins, and we'll see you guys next time.